3 days before this event, I was really excited, a little nervous. Then the night before, I was like nervous, not because of the car, not because of the speed, but like screwing up like royally and being not allowed ever to the racetrack just because you go through all these scenarios. And then by the end of like my third session, it was pretty cool because my instructor was actually telling me to push by the end of the day. And that was my fastest session. And I did very well. And that just makes you want to go back more and more. And then that bug hits. And it was an awesome day. Fucking amazing. So the day of, my camera was not rolling on my dashboard. So this is video of 4 days prior, where it was like Cart the Park. It was on a Saturday. This is a Thursday, the SCDA event. So that's why it doesn't seem like it's 4 o'clock in the morning, because it's really like 1 p.m. in the afternoon on a Saturday with Porsche Club event going on like all weekend. So that's why there's like actually people, but this is the process of actually getting in there and where to kind of go. There you go. Okay, so first they end up doing a driver's meeting, tell you the rules, the flags, and what everything stands for. They go over that. I was a novice group, newbie. So basically got in my car, already met my instructor, and then went out with the instructor, and she pretty much was like awesome. She was a professional driver, did all these other things. Great instructor, have nothing. You are amazing. And it was kind of that first one I could tell like the instructor kind of just wanted to see what experience I had and where I was at. So you can see mostly the steering wheel and the speedo intact. So you'll be able to kind of see the first lap and then my last lap. And there is like a big speed difference. And that was my first session. In my first session too, I was more surprised on the feedback because I thought she was just going to be like, you suck. That's like the military where they just straight up go, you fucking suck. But I got one of the best comments I could possibly get, which was she thought I was very smooth for a novice driver. And usually 95% she was saying is like always jerky. And even the HRD guy, Jake, at HRD, when he heard that, he was just like, not bad. So I was happy for that for a first time. So that's this session. Yeah, documenting this little journey of my life. So like right here, she was like asking me, she's like, oh, you have your cameras. I'll make sure I don't say anything bad. And I was basically saying, don't even worry about it. I was in the military. And I said a lot of worse shit than that. So this is where I was like talking about, so my camera right now is like facing down. I didn't adjust it correctly. It needed to be face up. So sadly, this first run out, this is the footage. Second footage, actually, you can see out the windshield. So don't think the whole entire video is like that. First lap, it's been years, probably 8 years since I actually drove like a stick. So basically this first run, I was just getting comfortable with the car in period, just because I haven't shifted in a long time. I didn't want to blow the transmission, because you actually have to pay for the new transmission if you do blow it up. So it's kind of like a slow going. This was like the final lap of the first run, and now I'm just kind of getting more comfortable. And you could see like in session 2, like I got way more comfortable with shifting. But right now, this lap went into this corner like 10 to 15 miles faster, so I was progressing throughout the run. It's funny watching like the first run, because here you carry out a lot of speed. I cut in a lot, and with doing about almost close to 100, you hug the left, and I learned that towards the end of the day. So session 2 footage actually lifted up my camera so you can actually see what the hell is actually going on in front of you. Sorry about that. Learning, can't really do anything about that. I'm gonna have some shitty moments in my learning period doing this shit. But yeah, it was like information overload. When to brake, when to turn in, where not to hit the apex. Yeah, it was a lot going on, but it definitely became fun after that. I wanted to like learn more. Session 2 was basically me kind of getting a little too, I would say, thinking my shit's hot, because I just basically added more speed, but I was like not hitting the apex correctly. I was going in way too fast in corners and thinking that speed wins, which it actually didn't, because basically I was going into the corner too fast, and then I was coming out too slow because I braked too much. But everything was like learning. It was great. I loved it. No matter what you get good at in life, you're gonna do horrible at certain things, and doing bad is part of the learning process. So this is session 2. So before each run, you line up right there. The guys on the right, that's the other racing level. It's because everyone's like novice, intermediate, expert kind of level. So those guys are headed off. I'm on the track now, and this is the first corner of the second run. Going in a little bit more hot. Not necessarily a good thing, but this run I tried to just basically go as fast as I could, which turned out not to be the best thing, because I felt like it was my worst run. Right here, this corner, it's my instructor called it the patience corner. This corner is basically, you kind of have to take it slow, and then when you go into here, right now with her hand, she's trying to get me to go as far to the left as I can to carry out speed. That way this straight right here, which is actually like a little snake, you can hit it straight, and then this corner up here, you actually carry up, go all the way. She wants me to go all the way to the left, get the steering wheel perpendicular to the ground with my hands. That way I don't end up like losing control. And then this corner, you go in as fast as you possibly can to go all the way to the left, which I keep not doing. And then here you hug the left as much as you can and cut it in the last second, and then go back all the way to the left, which I didn't do. this is my last lap of the second run. That guy, she was like, oh, let pass, it's a dragways, he has a Camaro, oh, he's big. But I did get, look at that, Mini Cooper beat me. But this was my last run. I kind of like realized like gotta ease up on the speed, and it was a pretty good run for my the last lap on this session 2. I actually finished that session going like, I didn't feel too good about it. I felt pretty shitty about it. And she just followed up with, well, why do you think you didn't feel good about that? And basically went into like, I basically took speed was the most important part, which it wasn't the most important part, as I learned. And I really wanted to go faster and keep up with a lot of cars, and I was doing in that process. The lines that she taught me, I didn't do, so therefore I was all over the track going speed was my focus, and it shouldn't have been my focus. So we talked about that. I learned a lot in it. Session 3, she basically, to carry out that speed in the lines, I needed to use the whole entire track, that whole entire width. So hitting basically every tire, hitting each edge of the track. And that's when everything started to come together. Shitty part is my camera overheated on session 3. There's 4 sessions throughout the day. So basically what you do is you get on the track, then you get like 20-minute break, and then you have a classroom session where you learn about how to racing fundamentals, which it's really good. Like SCDA does a great job at that. And then you get another like 20-minute break, and then you get on the track for your next session. Heats, whatever you want to call them. Someone can school me in the comments. And like within that, you kind of it's like a full, like really good day. If you've never done this, it's a great way to like get into like racing and track days. And if you really want to learn, this is a great opportunity to sign up for these like SCDAs. I rented from HRD, Housatonic Racing Development, which phenomenal. They take care of like everything. And I have nothing but great things to say to them. And the guy Jake was like in charge of it that day. He like checks the tire pressure, refuels the car. There's a badass like trailer. I never used it because I was trying to, like I said, it was a hot day that day, and I was trying to acclimate to the heat. So that was my main focus, is I didn't want to go from really nice AC trailer to all of a sudden be like sweating, because it was no joke, like 100+ degrees in that car. And I just wanted to get more acclimated to the weather that day. This is a humidity that like killed it. That's what killed it. But I will show the very short footage I have of, I guess you want to call session 3. And the 4th session never happened because it rained crazy, like torrential downpour. I took a time lapse of it, and you will see that as well. But it made me want to go back more. I wish I could have gone. The rain didn't happen. I'm already signed up in August for another SCDA event, and I can't wait for that to happen. But here's a brief moment of that session, and then I'll show you the rain footage. Man, that was basically my experience at SCDA. Snacks. Yeah, I try to like graze throughout the whole day, because otherwise this isn't a place you want to get like a bellyache.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Me normally I'm grazing, so I don't really have meals.
Yeah, it's actually better for you too if you just eat small meals throughout the day. So right here, she's going over like how she wants me to use the whole track, the whole width of the track on my run. That way I can get a better run time, faster run time. And this run is like where the magic happened. Says everyone that never has footage of it. I understand that. But it was a good run. Learning lessons on what to do and what not to do. But this was all the footage I did have of it, but it was great because this is usually a time like where it was like the game plan on what am I going to do on the track, and this is what happened each and every session. Like this is like where we kind of talked about, and for I never even stated it, we had these like head mics, so basically we could talk to each other and I could hear everything she was saying, everything that I could say she was hearing, and it really made the experience a lot more easier and enjoyable.
Even the real feel is 85 or 86, but it feels like more.
Yeah.
More. Concentrate on using the entire track, and then we'll, throw things in as we go.
Okay. So I was going through all the corners again, and this first corner, when you're coming flat out this way, you want to stay to the left and cut into the 8.
That's correct. You stay over here on the left.
And then only at this time when we're first coming out, I just stay to the right. So here she was explaining to me, because I had a question about like when you come out of the pit lane, you got to hug to the right. It's like merging onto traffic, and basically you got to stick right, because the people that are already on the racetrack could be going 150 miles an hour, and you're going to get rear-ended and kill somebody. Okay. So, third time out, that's what happened. Camera overheated. I learned not to just charge the camera every time before I go out, and to just replace the battery, and that'll cause the camera not to overheat. So learn that. Learn to use the whole track, which was great. I have that small footage in because that's where the instructor and I was actually discussing, let's use the whole track, meaning carry out all the speed that you had, but use the whole track and stay with the lines that she taught me to do, using all that smoothness that I have from the first run, the speed from the second run, but with third run, use the whole track, and everything kind of like came together. And it really did, because that run, I kept having people when they were on my ass, and then I was just being consistent with each run, where all of a sudden this like blue WRX, I was on my ass, so it's like slowly went away to the point where on the every time I came around and onto the main stretch, like straightaway, like that guy was like in my rear view. Usually I'm like letting people pass at that time. So she was she helped a lot, learned a lot. Like I said, this is like my first run. I didn't get kicked off the track. That, like I said, that was what I was nervous about, and didn't happen. That comes like straight from the Marine Corps. Oh, I'm gonna mess up and get kicked out. Kicked off the racetrack. That didn't happen. So it was good. And then the fourth timeout never happened. The rain hit, and what are you gonna do? The whole day was awesome. I definitely would recommend anyone thinking about doing it and kind of intimidating, just do it. No one cares. All the people there, the community there is like really, I would say, like helpful, very inviting. I have nothing but great things to say about that. And definitely have to give a shout out to HRD for being amazing. I'm doing business with them next month for an autocross in July. And then August, I'm doing another renting with them for SCDA again. And it was a great day. So anyone that wants to do it, just do it. You got nothing to be like intimidated about. It's a great way to, don't dream about it, just do it. That's all I can say. Easy as that. It really is that easy. Just do it. And I appreciate everyone that's watching, the 2 people in the world. Thank you so much. And next episode will probably be like a karting league that I'm starting at Monza. So I plan on doing that like weekly to get my racecraft, learn everything that I learned from SCDA. That way get the repetition going in. And we'll go from there. See where this leads next.